What's up? What's up? Salam, go!
So the guy in the white shirt's the one in charge here. So the two of them are the ones that are in charge, and the blue officers are just the regular officers. I can't actually hear your audio. Let me just restart the live. Let me just restart it again. So you can see there's actually a citizen speaking with
We got James too.
Hey Jamie,
Oh wait, I got my volume down.
can you guys hear me? Something's happened. The police officer said, "Excuse me, I'm leaving." That's what he just said to me. Someone's starting something, so we're just going to see what's happening. The police officer is saying, "Don't go over there, don't go over there." They're saying it's dangerous because they've got cars running, because this is outside the main protest area. There's been these little skirmishes throughout the whole night, but normally it's just 5 to 10 minutes or 2. So someone's screaming cuss words, and the officer has just asked everyone to just push back a bit. As you can see, the citizens are cooperating here with the police. Everything's very cordial. Things are still relatively calm. The protesters and the police are cooperating currently, so everything's really calm still, even though someone's screaming on the other side. No one's reacting or overreacting. The situation here is still really, really normal. So we're just letting them argue themselves over there, so everyone's staying away. So if you can see in front of us, there's a bit of an argument between two people. We're just going to get a bit closer. So he's cussing It looks like a Caucasian man. Here's Caucasian. They're fighting in Mandarin. There's a Caucasian gentleman, and
祝他们文化大革命，祝他们根本自行运动，是他们的所有运动，是不是？另外一点，还在香港啊。
So I'm just going to guess the guy screaming is anti-occupation
一届40多年，
occupation and control.
单前
Seems like they're having a
我一
debate.
说话，
I wish I actually knew what they were saying.
香港进入40多年了，73年的香港，他妈的军队不动不自由行动，你不要跟他。
So a lady just come and ask the gentleman to move. Let's go speak with the gentleman.
Okay, is that better? Can anyone hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Maybe my microphone's broken then. That's really bad.
Yeah, it's getting like a squealing
Oh,
sound.
really? So that's not working? Okay, I'm going to have to fix that.
But it's fine now, whatever you're doing.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
I thought it was James that was squealing or a siren in the background, but
Yeah.
yeah, they were fighting and yelling at each other in Mandarin, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in Hong Kong is Cantonese. So if I wasn't really sure on what the dialects were there in China up until here. I just found out in the last few days while we've been covering this story. So I'm sure a lot of our viewers probably don't know that. So I thought that was a good piece of information to pass along.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell James we lost him, get him to restart.
And it looks like Bitcoin has been bleeding out. It just went up another $6 though. We're at 336 on Bitfinex right now. I don't know. I found it interesting that, you know, Bill Gates came out this past week and basically gave Bitcoin a pretty good review, and richest man in the world comes out and says something good about something and the price tanks. That doesn't add up to me.
Well, because the thing is, prices only go up when one group of people has privileged price-sensitive information over another group of people. So it wouldn't go up unless Bill Gates had just whispered into a few people's ears to say he's going to say this. They would have then bought. He needs to give them enough time to get their capital into the markets, and then they buy. They only sell once he makes the announcement, because then everyone else starts buying, expecting the price to go up.
Yeah, so expecting, you know, I don't want to make a price, I don't want to say a number on here because it's arbitrary, but I see a better future for Bitcoin and the ratio of dollar to Bitcoin going up for the sheer fact of adoption. I mean, there's only 21 million Bitcoins going to be ever. Right now we have, what, 13.3 million? So that means that out of those 13.3 million, we get all these merchants, PayPal, Dell, Overstock. We got all these companies now that have dove into the market, accepting Bitcoin. And sure, right now they're not holding it some companies are, you know, Overstock, Patrick, he's been a pretty good supporter of Bitcoin, and they hold it. They offer their employees to be paid in Bitcoin. A lot of companies are offering to be their employees' payment in Bitcoin. And I think the more that happens, it's going to also increase it. But right now, with just the automatic sells that a lot of these companies have when they have these accounts through, I'm not sure what it is, and you know, it would have been good to have like maybe Marnie or somebody on here that knows how this works better with the actual merchant side. But I believe they have automatic sells, so when it goes into their merchant account, it just automatically sells it at whatever the lowest price is on the market. So that's going to just make the price go down if there's a lot of sales in Bitcoin.
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing in a way. Just kind of looking through the troll box. I think you can't have your cake and eat it. Either you want people to start using it, and this is the natural consequence of that, because the fact is people still have to pay their taxes in dollars and pounds. They can't pay it in Bitcoins. So you can't have it both ways. If Bitcoin gains adoption, then yes, businesses are going to have to sell their Bitcoins for the national currency, because that's what the IRS and HMRC will accept as, you know. But over time, as more and more people use it, the only reason, remember, that we went up in price was based on speculation. The only reason it went up was because of a whole bunch of fanfare. China's getting into Bitcoin, and it was allowed to go up far too fast. You couldn't short Bitcoin at the time. There wasn't enough liquidity in that market, and so no one could take the other position. And as a result, the price was just allowed to escalate and escalate out of control, which meant that realistically it was overpriced the whole time, and now we're starting to see an adjustment. The question is, where's the bottom going to be?
Well,
where will it stop? Because we've broken it now.
I agree that it was overpriced for the time, but I think as the more merchant adoption takes place, though, and the more that it's used, it's going to increase in value just because there's a limited number of it. What say you?
I don't know about that, actually, because just because it's got a limited number, people have to, markets are forward pricing mechanisms, so people price that in already, right? All of this information is now known, so you don't really get that kind of preferential treatment, because if everyone's got the same information and everyone can see that there are only ever going to be 21 million coins, everyone's just going to adjust that anyway. You wouldn't really get a kind of a price adjustment until the next interval will be 2017, when the block halves again, the reward for miners, because then what will happen is miners will have to start making medium-term decisions about how they're going to invest in their equipment. So that's the kind of time frame you would expect to see an adjustment in the price based on the supply ratios. But I don't think this idea there'll only ever be 21 million and somehow that's going to mean that the price goes through the roof is really a fair speculation, because just because something's scarce doesn't make it valuable. What we really want are the products and services in the market that it buys us.
I disagree. Come on, somebody save me, Mises.
Well, you have to assume that if everyone's got that information now, everyone knows there's always going to be 21 million. So then the question is, have we had enough time for that to have been priced in already?
I don't think so, because, well, the other thing...
Let's go to James, and then we can... Hello, James.
Hi, so we're back here. Things have cleared up now, but I do have the story of what actually did happen. So let me just fill you guys in. we're joined here by, can you give us your name, please?
Oh, it's Carol.
Carol. So we're joined here by Carol, who actually witnessed the whole incident. And so she's fluent in Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. So she's the perfect person to tell us what happened. So could you let us know, what was the old gentleman actually? Yeah.
He was basically screaming and shouting in Mandarin and like swearing in Cantonese, saying that like everyone is like blocking the street and like he's having like trouble like living his life, basically.
Okay.
And he said he's from China, but he's been living in Hong Kong for 40-something years.
Okay, so he was very open that, yes, he was born in China, but he is a Hong Kong resident for many, many years.
I think he came like 40 years ago.
Right, so he's a Hong Konger, basically, yeah.
And I think he's like against the democracy as well.
Okay, oh, because so he's got communist views.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
But that's the question, why do you leave China if you pro communist? I don't get it. He was just like cursing everyone.
And what was the Caucasian gentleman? I found out actually he's a journalist. So he's a journalist here who went to speak with him. What was that conversation about?
I think he was trying to ask him like, where you from? How long have you been living in Hong Kong? I think like as soon as they came over, I heard like 2 questions. That's how I got the answer, like 40 years in Hong Kong. But he was actually from China. It was just like swearing, like cursing.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, sure. What did
he was just saying,
okay.
Really rude.
Really rude.
Yeah.
So how did it all end then?
Basically, we told the Turkish guy, so he's from Australia,
okay.
White guy. I just told him, like, just leave him.
Leave him alone. Leave him be.
If you didn't speak to him, he's just going to stop.
Right. So he's got no one to engage with.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Did you guys get that?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Unfortunately, I don't think we can see. I don't think we're able to see your picture. I can just about see it, but I don't think it's coming through. But we heard it perfectly.
No, I could see the lady.
Oh, you could? Was it clear?
It was just dark.
It's dark, yeah.
Oh, it was. Oh, that's strange. So now the police are gone, and I'm going to take you guys to the. So they've cleared that row that you saw earlier with the batons. So they're gone now. And I spoke to the person in charge, which was the guy in the white, and he was telling me that they're actually going to clear way. So he asked me if I could tell the Occupy people to move back as well, because they were going to clear the way, and he held his word. He was right. They did clear the way within a couple of minutes. So that's why you don't see them here anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But there is still this second barricade, which is up. And here, actually, hey, look who it is. It's the gentleman who was speaking with the person earlier. Hi, we're actually live on air. Do you have any comments to tell people what happened earlier there?
I don't know. Who he was.
Right.
What
made you want to actually engage with him in a debate?
It wasn't a debate. I just wanted to ask him some questions. I wanted to interview him.
Right. Because you're a journalist and you wanted to interview. Did he actually answer any questions?
Yeah, he answered. I can ask questions in Mandarin. I don't speak Cantonese, and I asked him some questions in Mandarin, and he answered, but he shouted.
Right.
So it was a bit weird.
So it wasn't much of a conversation.
So I was standing right beside him, but so he's shouting and answering my questions to all the other people.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, do you guys have any questions for us here?
Is that really live?
Yeah.
Is that really live? Yes, it is.
He just, yes, it is. He just answered. Yeah, actually, do you want to speak to him? I'll give him the headset. You can speak
we
to him
actually,
directly.
James, we can't see your picture though. That's the only problem. Could you try reconnecting for us?
It's very dark. We got this.
No, it's not coming out on the public feed. I've just checked. It's
we got this stupid camera app opened up in here.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But I don't think that's got anything to do with it, though.
Let's restart the connection then, because...
yeah, just restart and let's see if we can get you back.
Yeah, restart.
Yeah, cool. Well, you were in the yellow ribbon. That's something I definitely couldn't do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard him say something. Wow, you're wearing a yellow ribbon.
It's so mad. Like, this technology is getting so good now that we can actually get these kind of interviews. And of course, you and I could both see what James was seeing, although it was quite dark. But I don't think our audience was able to see it, because when I checked the public one, it was just came up with as if James wasn't even on the feed, although his audio was coming through. Here we go. He's back now.
Now we got a good.
There we go. That's much better. Much better. Okay. Ah.
Ah, now we see both.
Yeah, now we can see both of them. But your sound, obviously, you need to put your sound on, James. Just hope he realizes.
Oh no. James, you need to unmute.
So that's going up on Twitter.
Here we go, here we go.
There we go.
We're back.
All right, then. Got the message. Yes, I was just saying, this is the gentleman and lady that we were interviewing earlier when you couldn't see the video.
Broadcast, yeah.
Yes. And
Lovely.
as you can see, police are gone from that row. However, they're still present here at the second barricade.
Which part of Hong Kong are you in?
We're in Mongkok right now. It's about 6:30 a.m., give or take. We're on Argyle Street and Shanghai Street, on one end of Occupy Mongkok.
Mm-hmm.
And how have the crowds been? Has the crowd decreased, stayed the same, or?
The crowd has actually increased today. The size increased, but as you know, it's 6 a.m. now, so the crowd's actually died down.
Okay.
Mm.
Looks like we're having some connection problems again, which.
Yeah, so it goes from being really, really clear to nothing at all.
You can see that, yeah, the daylight's just coming up there, and where I'm at in America, it's going to be sundown here in about an hour. So it's 13 hours ahead of me there.
Yeah, it sounds to me like from yesterday. I spoke to James last night on Skype. We had quite a long conversation, and he was saying that there'd been some sort of organized crime gangs sent to Hong Kong. They were calling them the Triads, who sounded like they had like a southern Chinese accent. So it was like someone just coming from the other part of the country to Hong Kong to the protests, and they just started laying into some of the protesters, started getting violent, and the police were arresting them, but then they were dropping them off at another location and then letting them go, and then they'd come back and they'd create more trouble. And so the allegation was that these were government-sponsored thugs, that they'd been sent in, especially since we had also learned earlier in this week that the police themselves in Hong Kong are sympathetic to the protesters and are therefore not necessarily all that willing to defend and to start, you know, getting in with the rubber bullets and so on. So I think from a strategic point of view, from the Chinese government's point of view, I think they probably thought, well, we don't really want an unwilling police force to get involved. If they're not willing to get involved, we'll send our own people, and maybe the police can just stand back and do nothing, or make some superficial looking arrests, but then kind of let them go and back into the crowd.
Yeah, I had saw a couple other sources that were saying the same thing about the Triad connection, and were showing actually the police letting them out, showed pictures on Twitter of the police actually letting them out of the car down the road, and it looked like it was supervisors, police supervisors, that were letting them out. And then they were just coming back and agitating again.
Let me just get up that article that I saw. So, yeah, so the FT actually did a really good write-up after yesterday's protests. I thought they did a really good job of it compared to the others. The BBC reported that there had been some scuffles and that allegedly these were triads, so they took a bit more of cautious angle on the reporting. I think they were quite hesitant to accuse these people of being government sponsored, but it does look like the FT have gone a little bit more gung-ho with their reporting. And they seem to report the facts much as James told me yesterday. And when I'm fact-checking information at a distance, I'm always looking for independent corroboration. I'm looking for two parties that are not, colluding to agree on some facts, and then I can be sure that it's true.
Yeah, that's kind of what I look for too. And Twitter seems to be a good source for doing that, actually. Mm-hmm. I've been finding Twitter is a good source for that, and such a variance just going between, if you look at what ABC and CNN and all of them are, the American mainstream media is reporting, and you can see the slant that they have is kind of unified, even though they have their American political bias, but that's you can tell that's an American bias, and then you can tell the BBC has another bias, and then you can tell the Al Jazeera bias and the Russia Today bias and the Canadian bias from the Canadians, and it's just, so it's another thing too I've always done is kind of look through all the sources and then made up my mind of what I've gathered from all of them, just trying to sort out what's bullshit and what's real.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. And of course, the other problem with social media is that there's so many Twitter accounts and also Wikipedia articles that are deliberately skewed to try and distort the reality. And this is a conversation that I was having earlier on Reddit, because I've been suggesting this idea for some time now that we should get blockchain-enabled recorders, blockchain-enabled cameras. So I think somebody has dubbed it proof of honesty. I don't know how we want to call it eventually, but the idea is, and I was kind of explaining in this post, that if you had a camera that was networked, could just be an app on your phone, and was actually a Bitcoin node in itself, then it could actually embed the Merkle root into every 30 frames. And what that would prove is that that frame existed at that time and at no other time, which would mean that you could create a treehouse of links on the internet. Once you start publishing all this media on Twitter, you have verifiable sources. People can independently verify that this picture was taken at that time. And if you're in a protest and the police comes up to you with a baton and he tries to strike you with it, it doesn't matter even if he seizes your camera, because that thing has now been uploaded to the blockchain. That is now evidence. Now, particularly if you get a whole bunch of people coming down on one area with this technology, then you can be pretty sure things happened in a certain way. So that's kind of what I'm asking for. James is back. Let's go to James. That's a very clear question.
There's a rally here.
Who's speaking, James?
Who's speaking?
No idea. I think it's just random people.
Just the citizen, because it's open mic.
Yeah, open. And he's saying that in the past 24 hours, it's thousands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys get that?
The past 24 hours has been what?
It's ours. We've reoccupied Mongkok the last 24 hours.
So you've taken it back.
Right, we've taken it back. We've reoccupied Mongkok.
Everyone is tired, please take a rest, but be aware that all the blue ribbons and other people trying to come and create chaos. Just be aware. I will be staying here.
Be on alert is the message.
Okay, yeah.
We want true universal suffrage, real elections. We want real elections.
Has anybody suggested just setting up polling places right now and just doing it? You don't need permission to vote.
Well, no, what that means is we want to select our nominees is basically what they're saying.
What's that?
We want to select the nominees because right now Beijing's proposal is that they select 2 to 3 nominees for us. So they
well, all you got to do is put some nominees on a piece of paper and say, here, vote for them.
We can't. You can only choose from the pre-selected list of 2 or 3 that China chooses, or that committee of 1,200 chooses. You can't have a write-in candidate.
What I'm saying is, you got all these people there. I don't believe in voting, but here's what I'm saying: set up voting booths. Say, okay, if you want to be a candidate, put your name on the ballot, and we're going to vote on Tuesday. And you got 100,000 people there.
That's a lot of infrastructure you've got to set up, though.
Just vote.
To do it traditionally with the voting booths, there's a lot of infrastructure to set up, and to make it fair, there's got to be a lot of adjudicators and so on. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
What you can do is you could do a blockchain thing. Actually.
Yes. But that's going to take a long time because people have got to set it all up, and I mean, it's definitely worth putting forward as an idea, just for them to have their own set of elections to see what would happen if it were free, and then the whole world could see it.
Picking up trash.
What's that, James?
Picking up trash.
Oh.
Grandmother's here helping recycling the trash because 80-year-old lady, and people are handing her cans and paper just to make her job easy.
This is really good. The quality of the video is very good, James.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it helps if you move your camera pretty slow.
Yeah. The slower you move the camera, the better.
Yeah, you can see the guys with the masks on their face. Now, I understand pollution is quite bad in Hong Kong. Is that why people wear the masks?
Generally, we do wear it for pollution, but also people just are cautious now. Whenever they are sick at work, they're asked to wear masks. So if you're coughing or have a flu, everyone is actually asked to wear masks. So there are actually official company policies in Hong Kong where the people who are sick are asked to wear masks. So she might be ill today.
Okay. I know that people were wearing them for the tear gas and stuff. But
right. So right here you can see some police presence. Inside, this is one end of the barricade on Argyle Street. See, there's the barricade. On the other side, so this is the opposite end of Argyle Street. On the opposite end, you saw a barricade of police officers. So here, there are no police officers at the barricade. However, there's about 3 or 4 uniformed officers just standing by watching what's going on. On every corner, so there's 4 officers on this corner, and on the other corner here, on Shanghai Bank, you can see another 4 officers stationed in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Here.
Yeah.
Right.
yes.
4 on one corner, 4 on one corner, and on the other corner we have HSBC. The buses were cleared yesterday by the anti-Occupy thugs. So all the buses and everything have been clear. You can see all the art's been torn down. What was a really beautiful Mongkok with all this art was all been teared down and vandalized. And there's a lot more here, though, in this corner than the other 2.
Has there been any hard physical property damage?
No, I can't see any shop damage. I haven't seen any shop damage. Carol, have you seen any shop damage here? No? What about on the other side in Central where you would know? Hong Kong people have been really peaceful and have not destructed any property. What I meant by people destroying these things were actually not the Occupy movement. It was the anti-Occupy people.
Flyers.
Yeah, who just took down all the flyers. So on this corner, you can see there's another 4 officers, and the one in the middle is probably the boss, because the one in the white uniform is a little more senior. So that's why you see 4 plus 1 here. So on the other corner, don't see any.
They look like just a regular morning.
Yeah, the media's up there, camped up on the tube station. that's nothing compared to the other day or last time. Normally, that whole top of the MTR is full of press. This is relatively empty. Last night, this was full of people sleeping and just sitting here, but now it's only about 10% of the crowd's left. Now, this is some new art. I haven't seen this before, because, you know, we're putting things up again because we've reoccupied Mongkok. So one of the things that's here is from the letter from the Amnesty International, which mentions the brutality and the unfairness by the Hong Kong police, who selectively are accused of ignoring crime yesterday. So this is they posted the Amnesty International press release here for everyone to see, because they really denounced the Hong Kong police, because innocent people like this were hit and bloodied, and the person hitting them, they were just released at the station.
Now, were you were hit by a car or something, weren't you?
I was actually hit by a police car yesterday while he was backing out because we didn't want them to leave. So we had actually surrounded the car, and I was on one corner. And on my corner, though, however, the guy decided to move the car. And it just happened to hit me and knock me back. I mean, it didn't hurt or anything, but it just knocked me back a bit. But when the crowd saw that, hundreds of people just came by just to support, I guess to support me, that the cops had done that. And then the single row barricade over the car became like hundreds of people surrounding the police car.
Okay. So I saw you had posted that on Twitter, and I haven't been able to get in touch with you since.
So yes, this is one of the double barriers. So originally it was only this one, right? And now there's a second one that's been extended out, and the cops are standing on the second one. So this is what Argyle Street looks like back to back on Sunday morning here in Hong Kong.
And those are just those portable gates, and they got them tied together with those plastic zip ties.
It's what do you call those wood things? They're used by
fruit, wood.
You know, they're wood. They're wood.
Okay.
They're like you put cartons on top of. Like fruit cartons are put on top of there and stacked. They use the wood to separate the boxes.
Oh, pallets.
Pallets, thank you. They're wooden pallets. Yes. Oh gosh. Yes, they're wooden pallets there, barricading the road.
Okay.
So we're gonna just walk along Nathan Road here just to see what's happening. So this is actually the center tent that I was holding up last night as we were surrounded by pro-Beijing supporters and police. So I was actually standing right in the middle here. It's actually fended off today, just for supplies. But yesterday the middle here was full of people just fortifying the fort, what remained, and I was holding the blue and white column right there. So as you can see on the left of Nathan Road, it's relatively empty right now. It's this morning. Doesn't stretch very far. Last night, though, it had stretched around 2 blocks down, full of people. But around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I would say is the peak of the crowd. Yeah. And then 3, 4, it started to just slowly disperse until what we see now.
All right. And wow, I was really surprised.
I was wrong. There are cops on the corner as well.
I've really been coming in for
every
you.
corner. And not only that, the police are using the air conditioning inside the bank, which I will show you. Actually, the pro-Occupy people have been doing the same thing at another bank. So you can see here, this Hang Seng Bank here in Mongkok, and the police are using it to cool down, almost to use the air condition, just to cool down here as a little base. So it's next to the ATM machines. This is a public area, so I shouldn't be stopped. It's a public bank, so it should be okay for me to come in here. As you can see, they haven't stopped me. They have let me pass through fairly, just to continue my work.
Oh, you're losing your signal.
Now you're being censored again.
Very fascinating. It's
interesting. Every time things get interesting, the internet cuts out for him. But it's
I
probably
think
because
he
he's
was
gone in
just losing
5.
his signal
Yeah,
inside
I
the
think
building.
so. Yeah, yeah.
But
Paranoid about it.
it's fascinating. He's got to be exhausted.
Yeah, last night when I spoke to him, he was pretty exhausted. I don't know how he was still going at that time, because when I spoke to him, it must have been, I guess it was 24 hours ago, so it would have been about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I said, look, just go to sleep, man. Don't worry about telling me the story. You can tell me the story tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, because I had talked to him yesterday morning and then lost connection with him and didn't get a hold of him again until when I woke up this morning. My Skype reconnected with him and I had a message back from him. But so I was wondering what had happened to him. I saw Twitter updates though from him yesterday.
Yeah. So this is actually the first mention of the fundraiser for the Hong Kong protests, which James is the custodian. And so
Cointelegraph did a story on it.
yeah. So this is actually World Crypto Network's debut mention, I think, in the media. And it takes you through the process of how it happened. He went on to our Bitcoin, and now I believe he has raised, this is the address, he has raised 3.3 Bitcoins. And we talked about yesterday what he should spend the money on. And I think we suggested that probably food would be the best thing, because that would actually keep people going. In terms of bang for buck, that's what's going to give you the sort of the best thing. Because you actually can buy things like pots and pans and propane burners, you know, to kind of heat the food. You want something that's going to be pretty mobile as well, something you can dismantle and then move to another area.
Yeah. Well, since it's not going to be things like candy bars would be good for energy and stuff too. But if they need things that are actually nourishing and stuff, I was thinking like, oh, what would be good?
Well, you're into your survival and stuff, right? Like, you know how to prep.
I'm a horrible person for eating, though. I don't know how I stay alive. I guess it's because I was so overweight when I quit eating properly.
Well, this is. I just want to show everyone. This is the donation address for James. So if you want to send him some money, this is the address to send it to. I can put it in the description, but not until after the show. Or actually, I'm going to try put it in the comments right now. Actually, let me try and do that. So yeah, I think I sort of said get something that's going to give you the most mileage, and also I think it would be cool for him to like do some videoing. He's offered to pay for me to go out there and actually, you know, video it. But if I did, I'm going to need better equipment than I've got at the moment to really make it worthwhile. So I've been looking up today the possibility of getting a better microphone for the phone and maybe upgrading my phone, because at the moment I'm using like a really old iPhone 4. So it would be good to either get the new iPhone or get some professional camera situation so that I can actually capture good, because I used to be a professional photographer, so I probably should make an effort to get some decent kit, because then we can actually start reporting from these areas live, especially now that we're building our BitTorrent network. We're getting a few people have stepped forward to offer to become nodes for us, so they can start actually offering our footage out on a distributed network, which means even if YouTube take us offline or for whatever reason, these videos get taken off the internet, we'll still be.
Nobody wants to send me anywhere.
Well, you have to ask, I guess. Maybe just ask. Where should I go? So
I think the money would be better. Well, they'd have to spend money for a plane ticket and everything to get you over there. I don't know how much it costs to get you there, but
it's about £600. It's not actually that much if you if you book in advance. But the thing is, we don't know if by the time I get there, with the whole thing would be over anyway.
That's what I was thinking. It seems like it would be a good to just spend the money. one thing I was thinking, things like beef stew and that are pre-made already don't need to be heated to eat. And things like that are pre-made and packaged. We used to have that kind of food when I was in the Army in our rucksacks, and we'd eat that. And a lot of times to heat it up, we'd just put it on the engines of our tanks to heat it up if we wanted it warm. Otherwise, you can just, but then you got some meat and stuff in there too, if you, for some nourishment and protein.
Yeah. So it looks like we're also joined by Chris McCready.
Yeah. I couldn't do it by accident, but I'm here now, so...
That's the best way of doing it. It's the best way. We've been getting James on and off, but he's coming in.
Yeah, I just saw the price. I've just put a big buy order in at 300.
That's it. Now you've got to buy, everyone. Buy before Chris McCready does.
Yeah.
He's a big dog in this game. He's one of the biggest whales in the industry.
Yeah, right. Now I put a big order for me, 10 coins.
Oh, he's putting in 10 coins. Quick, everyone, beat him to it.
If it gets to 300, that's free money, I think.
Well, there's no such thing as free money.
It's as close as.
Yeah. Let's get Bitcoin wisdom back up, because we're addicted to that shit.
I actually did it at 301 because I don't want them tricking me.
Well, we got 332.47 on Bitfinex right now.
So I'm on BTC, so.
The real place to buy the coins.
Oh yeah, do what the Cobalt says. 319, yeah.
God, look at that. Catch a knife whale, why don't you? Catch a knife. Right now.
It's a cliff.
Yeah.
Do we know why?
So many people have persuaded themselves that 260 is going to be the bottom because that's where the previous high was. This narrative is being pumped around that, you know, because Bitcoin always goes up, right? And so it's only going to touch the top.
You broke your rule.
What's that?
You said a number.
I didn't set a rule to say that I'm not allowed to say a number.
No, but you always bitch about everybody saying a number.
No. There's a use-mention distinction in philosophy, right? I wasn't using it, I was mentioning it. I'm mentioning that other people have already set a narrative, and I've used those numbers.
So it's okay if you say somebody else said it. So passing it along.
So use-mention distinction, as in there you go, use-mention distinction.
Yeah, you can say,
I'm not using it.
I mean, it's just a fact.
I'm not predicting this, but other people have said.
Yeah. Well, yes, because that's legitimate commentary, given the context of where we're going. I'm saying that other people are telling themselves a story, that what you're hearing is it's going to touch the previous high because that's what Bitcoin always does, right? Because if you look back historically, but I'm not saying that's true. On the contrary, I think they're going to be in for a big surprise.
Yep, 260 then 1,000, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, Demeester has been saying 260 for a month.
I mean, have we seen any reason why it's going down? All I see is
Bill Gates.
He was bullish about it.
No, I was joking.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I mean, there's only that one thing out of Russia, isn't there? Russia's talking about.
The reason the price hasn't gone up is there's no reason for it to go up.
But why it's going down? It should be just hovering, no?
Well, no, because you can't buy. You can't pay your taxes in it. You can't pay taxes with it. You can't buy food with it. You can't buy a whole bunch of life essentials with it. So you've got to sell out of Bitcoin to get those life essentials.
So people are using Bitcoin to live.
Yes, they're buying.
Would like to be one of those.
Well, look at other commodities right now. We got the price of silver is dirt cheap right now. I wished I had actually had money to buy this shit, because silver is like $16 and something. It's ridiculous. It was over $21 an ounce just 2 months ago, and it had held at $19 an ounce for 2 years.
Oh, James is back. James is back, everyone.
So, Chris, so you're
to his girlfriend here in the middle of Occupy Montauk, and she said yes. Here's the new happy couple.
Wow.
And we do have the video of the proposal, which I will upload later onto the channel. There's the bride-to-be.
可唔可以女嘉賓講下會唔會好突然啊？即係期間咁樣有咩感覺？即係就好突然啊！即係佢喺呢個時候喺呢個地方度講下個心情咯。
They're asking her how she feels. She says she's very happy. She's a bit shy here.
有冇保護過佢啊？呢段時間都有嘅，即係我哋都係一齊過嚟義工啦。咁然之後咧，佢每次都會分享最前面嘅，咁咧我就由後邊嗰邊保護佢咯。但係呢啲，我要真冇事啊！我要冇事。
We want real elections, true democracy.
都冇關係嘅，係啊。
希望你哋結婚嘅話已經有。
肯定希望啦，因為我哋打算咧出年就結婚㗎啦。係啊。點稱呼兩位啊？可以？我姓周嘅。寫得全部啊！
His name is Mr. Low. Her name is Bok Bok. Miss Chan. How old are they? She's 21 years old. She can now drink.
我哋依家出嚟做嘢啦。因為睇到班學生咁辛苦咧，都要出嚟見，即係支持佢哋啦，係啊。
They're here to support the students who are struggling.
為咗香港，我哋都應該俾出嚟。都唔會嘅，計劃我哋已經計劃準備好㗎啦。即係等埋集埋個日子咧，然之後就可以。知唔知可能話因為個佔領運動可能有機會被拘捕㗎？即係會令到你呢個問題，其實我哋做咩就係有都有嘅。其實我已經因為一次刑事毀壞俾人哋拉咗㗎啦。唔係幾關事嘅，係啦。唔該晒，唔該晒。
Can we see the ring? Can we see the ring, please? Can we see the ring, please? Here's the ring, guys. This is the engagement ring that the gentleman proposed to Miss Chansu. Oh, there's something else. What does that say? Thank you. So we'll ask Carol later what this translation means.
I couldn't make it out. What was it? A tattoo?
No, it's just a marker on the side of their arms.
That one on the right says,
what does it say?
That one says C.Y. Leung step down.
It's asking C.Y. Leung, the chief executive of Hong Kong, to step down.
That one says I want real.
And the other we're off air.
Just in time for me to do a block height announcement. We are at 323,586.
Did we get a new block?
No, but I'd like to timestamp sometimes, you know, if a historical event is taking place, you know me. 9ADDC8E8 is the Merkel route. Someone needs to make a portable one of these, a portable Bitcoin clock. If I told everyone it would make the price go up, everyone would go out and develop one.
You need to get one on a watch.
Yes.
Maybe just
exactly.
have a button on there to turn it over to your Bitcoin clock, and you can just press another button to get your Merkle root.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or have Merkle roots in your
I think in the
little
future,
date area.
people won't even see all this stuff. It'll all just be invisible. It'll all just be engineered away and automated, so that what would happen is every now and again your camera would just need to resync with the blockchain before it could carry on, and it'd be like, no, I'm just getting the latest block, and it's like, okay, come on, yeah, now. And it would just be.
I was thinking about the technology like they use for Google Authenticator, that hardware-based stuff.
Yeah.
Is it? I need to look into that if that's open source.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the algorithms that are used are well known. It's very clever technology. It only needs the internet now and again in order for it to work. It just needs to resync. So Theo is with us as well.
No, Theo.
Hey.
Oh.
Theo is the man that knows his charts.
Yeah, come on. When should I put my buy order in?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't decided mine yet because I have a different system, of course. No, I have like a thing where it how can I explain it? So it's like the opposite of a stop loss. So if the price goes up by a certain percent, then it automatically buys in. So if you're sleeping, so then you don't have to stay up all night and like watch the price. So a drop. So it's a percent. So okay. Well, actually, it's not. You could do it at a static amount. You could say if the price goes up to this amount. Sounds funny if it goes up by because you want to buy low. But what it is that it's not an exact way, but it's one way to kind of detect a bottom or to detect a pump. So, it goes down, and usually there's some dramatic ups, and it's going to have to go up a good amount to kind of confirm that it's going to go back up. So that's one way.
Stop gain, yeah?
I guess that's what you call it. I mean, the problem is I don't come from the same background of like all the like correct terms. Sometimes I just mix the terms wrong.
Yeah,
it could be stop gain. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. So and then I had the I had the stop loss. I think it's good to do it the same way. So instead of saying stop loss at price X because I saw it on the Fibonacci or whatever, you could do stop loss if it loses 2% in 240 minutes or in 480 minutes or something. So that means that 480-minute candle would have to. You can picture it like a candle, yeah. So it's like in 480 minutes, if it's finished and it dropped 2%, then it would have sold. So not on the like really crazy ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a technical way. I don't know if anyone can follow it.
Oh yeah, okay. So I know that one. It's the trailing stop loss.
Exactly.
So you hit the stop loss, then you hit the bit under it, yeah.
Exactly, and so that's and that will also follow it back up. Yep. So let's say it went up and down. I mean, so to be honest, what happened was I had this as soon as it was getting really bearish. I don't know, like even a week ago, I think, or more. I set up a whole bunch, and I made some losses because you see it like kind of went back up and then it went back down. So you can also make losses doing that, But I was like, it's okay because I want the insurance for when this thing is going to really crash because I had a feeling. And I think that BTCE is way too noisy in general. I think you can go to Bitstamp and get a clearer signal. I mean, of course, people are trading on BTCE and it's cheaper. But I mean, for analyzing the chart, I think it's a little bit less noisy because like in the history of BTCE you have those like really weird ones that go down really 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 low and all that, and it kind of messes up the chart when you look at it a little bit.
Yeah, I just have a big low order and a high sell order and just leave it at that. I don't try to get it close to it.
Yeah, I mean there's all kinds of ways. I'm a fan of stacking orders, so I think people should do that incrementally. I think there's a name for it. So it's like You said, okay, buy order. Where should I set my buy order? 305. Well, don't set one buy order because that would be really dumb if your one buy order didn't get filled. That would be stupid. So you just can fill. You can say, okay, a little bit at 305, a little bit at 306, and don't do it exactly at 306. Do it like at 305 and 21 cents or something really weird. You know what I mean? And you stack them, or you can stack them down. And it will be incremented because maybe not all as it goes down or up, depending if you had buy or sell orders, then they would get triggered as it went down incrementally. Okay, you're not going to have the. It's a more conservative way, in my opinion, to do it because the problem is either if it's a buy or sell limit order, it might not get filled. It might just not trigger that price exactly.
Yep. So, I just
anyway,
keep it really easy.
That's everyone. That's okay. I'm not saying anyone. Everyone has their own way.
Yeah, I don't have to look at the charts. I can just leave it, set it $50, $100 out either way, and then just forget about it.
Yeah, sure, totally.
Okay, Theo, what do you make of this on this chart here? I'm going to call this a Pythagorean decline because it's like a 45-degree angle.
That's actually got a name.
But I
can't remember what it's called now. It's just where it just keeps going down. They should rename it the crypto triangle. Like it's name for anything that just goes down, 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 down.
This is going to be the Pythagorean decline, and then if we go over here, we got a right angle because this is right at October 4th. So we can obviously see that the Illuminati is involved.
What you on here? 15-minute graph? Is that 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Down to a minute, 15 minutes. That's way too long in crypto.
1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute and zoom in. Right? 1 minute and zoom in.
Yeah, that's a lifetime. 15 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm doing a conspiracy here. We got to make this fit my conspiracy.
I would only use day candles if you really want to know a trend. It depends on what you want to do, but if you want to know a trend, then I think a day candle is okay. And we've got to also put this in perspective, everybody. That's why I laugh whenever. I mean, I do look at charts and I'm interested in it and all that, but you have to take it even more with a grain of salt because look at the market cap. What is the total Bitcoin market cap? Does anyone know off the top of their head?
I don't know.
Like
what's like 5 billion or something?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know what is like a real obscure or middle. I don't know what is like Turkish lira, U.S. dollar. It's probably like 50 times as big. I don't know exactly, but even just like a
quantitative easing, they were printing $85 billion a month for quantitative easing. So,
yeah. But
when you look at that compared to what the market cap of Bitcoin was, it's minuscule.
Yeah, totally. I got exactly, and I just want to say that the lower the volume you have, the harder it is for the charts to really mean anything. Basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The volume's not there to support anything at the moment. That's why I'm surprised that it keeps going down.
Yeah, I mean, no one knows. I mean, you can. That's why I said, day candle is reasonable enough to find a trend. It's okay, or you can. I mean, you can. Pull up. Your averages and your RSI and all that stuff. It's okay, but just take it with a grain of salt and use longer time periods and don't use like, I don't know what.
Well, all you're going to get on the shorter time periods is noise. Because that could be anything. Whereas a day, the whole world has had time to take in the information, all time zones. So at the moment, we're at 4.5 billion market cap on Bitcoin.
Okay.
Well, there was a period just towards the start of the year when I was buying and selling quite a lot, when they would always drive the price down on Saturday, then push it back up on Sunday. I hope that's coming again, because that was just easy. It was predictable for about 2 months.
Now we've got James back.
So we're here now on the other side of Argyle Street. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. So you just saw there's just a few police buses at the end, but this place has all been clear now. There's no protesters. There's no cars blocking as well. Before you could see cars blocking this area, but they're all cleared out now. There's only the barricades. However, there is a small bunch of plainclothes police officers. You can see the word police and their badge right there on. Right, so there's about a group of, so I guess these are probably plainclothes officers or possibly detectives here in Hong Kong. They're just hanging out on the corner, not doing much. They look unarmed. They look pretty harmless to me. But there's another group of them in front as well, so they're just back there hanging out, but their colleagues, they've got another group of 5 of these plainclothes people with a vest that says police. I don't know, we haven't seen them in the last few days, they just showed up today, and there's a lot of them.
Wow, so they do make themselves known as police with these badges, but otherwise they just look like they're in plain clothes.
The thing, yeah, and we haven't seen them in the last few days, but today there's so many of them, and they're detectives, CID detectives in Hong Kong.
Interesting. That's an interesting change of strategy. Theo's smiling. Oh no, sound is just not working for Theo.
Our friend Blackcoin3D is kind of trolling me. He said that's the tactics of the annoying trader. All of this stuff I was describing. Yeah. Because some people are like, oh, why are they putting like so many small orders, or I don't know what, or they say, oh, those are small orders, it's a bot. I'm like, no, you can do that manually. You can just, you don't have to go all in on one price. Not everyone does that.
Yeah, lump sum investing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it can, whatever, you can trade how you want. It's just a game. I mean, it's a game that can cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to take it lightly like that. I'm just saying, there's more than one. I think there's more than one way to kill a chicken.
And to skin a cat as well. Cats can be skinned in lots of different ways.
Yeah. So however you want to do it, you can look at charts for hours every day, or you could just not look at a chart, and you could both be right or wrong or whatever. So there's a lot of ways to do it. I mean, someone still hasn't. Yeah.
So I've got a really simple strategy. I can take you through it if you want it, but it takes about 30 seconds.
Okay, go for it.
I have about $5,000 that I use to play, and I buy when it's low, and then I sell them when it's high, and then I put the profit straight back into the Bitcoin, and then move them into cold storage, and don't touch them.
That's one way to do it.
And I've built I've built like 18 Bitcoin that way this year so far, so it's not so bad.
Hey, that's a good way to do it. It's a good, if they're in cold storage, that's good, because it's harder to unlock them and start trading them again. That's a good way.
Yeah, that's right. I've got to have the cash there, otherwise you can't move when the markets go like this. It's got to be sitting there, and that's the risk, I guess. That's the biggest risk, that the market just disappears with your cash.
Yeah. So sometimes I buy stuff. Like I bought some silver, or I bought some jewelry. yeah, right, exactly.
But no, I do have separate coins that I buy with as well. And I never used to have this, but Chris convinced me via his many lectures online that you should really be putting them to use as well. Yeah. So I did move some towards buying and spending as well, but I never used to do that, and I realized that was actually to my detriment and everyone else's.
I don't know. As long as it keeps flowing, that's the problem.
If I'm just hoarding them all, I'm not actually using any of them. I'm not actually benefiting the system at all. So I got Chris to thank for that one. So I do use them for buying stuff now as well. But that's a separate part again.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So last time around April, when it went down a lot, I didn't buy a big mining operation. I just bought some little miners, but because I had I think that I don't know. For me personally, it's easier to trade in the bear market than the bull market. I don't know why. Maybe that's just a personality, or I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to convince my co-founders to pay our devs from next month with them, but they're not too keen on it as a concept. But I've got a month to plug away at them. So
yeah, definitely. But it just has to be, suppliers or people or shops or whatever. If they can resupply in Bitcoin or some other crypto, then that's a big solution to having the big sell-offs that people claim are happening from the big companies.
Yep.
On the other hand, on Twitter, so I've been going back and forth.
He's been trolling on Twitter.
No, I haven't been trolling. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's from CoinDesk. It's a writer. and he already called the bottom. Of course, he was wrong because it still is a little bit lower now, but he called it today. But he had this like really the thing I liked his article that he wrote on his own blog. It was pretty interesting. It talked about a lot of things I don't analyze, but he's analyzing. But what really got me is he was like, yeah, I don't trust charts at all, and I don't like technical analysis. I was like, okay, I get it, you know. But on the other hand, like all the stuff he was showing was really technical. It just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? He was talking about averages and other things, but it was just not the typical ones that you get on the chart. So I was like, what is
Bitcoin though? There's no market makers. There's no opening and closing of the market. There's no control.
exactly
None of those old metrics for measuring it works.
exactly?
The only metric that works is the throw box, and we know that.
Yeah, and so what he's trying to figure out, or he's talking about, is all this stuff that we can't track, because he's talking about over-the-counter trade. Because what happened was a few days ago, I think 2 or 3 days ago, I think he did post an article on CoinDesk, and he tweeted it out, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, this guy in China just sold, 20 bitcoins for $560 each," and I said, "Hey, if you guys want to buy some bitcoin from me for $560, then DM me." And then it like turned into this whole thing, and there's like this broker on there, like buying people's bitcoins 10 at a time for 8% over market, apparently. I mean, and they're like publicly making the deal on Twitter. They're like, okay, I just sent, this guy 10 Bitcoin. He just wired me the money. Thanks a lot. I mean, I don't think I trust him enough just because he's on Twitter necessarily. I'd like to at least meet him, but anyway, the article was about that the over-the-counter market. There's a real high demand in the over-the-counter market, and of course, there's no charts for it, and it doesn't affect the price directly. In fact, the people should be buying back at the exchanges and supporting the price. What they should be doing is selling over the counter and buying back on the exchanges. That should be the way. Then you can do it's a basic arbitrage, You sell for over.
There are charts for over the counter. I'm looking. I've just pulled them up. So
local bitcoins, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're paying over the counter, you're paying over the market rate. You're holding coins for someone who doesn't want to know that he's having coins bought for them. So they're never going to be selling on the public markets. Those guys are hoarding. That's why they do it. That's why they pay more. They don't want you to know who they are, and they want to have the Bitcoin holdings.
Right. But the people that sell, but if I sell 10, let's say I sold 10 to this broker, and he gives it to his hoarder, that's cool, and then I make 8% or whatever,
Or you should go back and buy with.
And I buy back at the exchange.
Yeah, sure.
You see what I mean? That's what I mean. It should be
but that bit's not happening.
I guess not, because I don't see
the whole Twitter thing could be a fake.
Yeah, right. I don't see the support, and he's going on and on about over-the-counter markets and that it's not on the charts, and it could be, but in my opinion, okay, you can look at local bitcoins, and sometimes they had really big days in the last few months, but we don't know exactly what's going on.
Well, I'm surprised that a lot of these Bitcoin ATMs aren't charging more of a markup than what they're selling on Coinbase or whatever for.
Oh, they are. They are. I think.
A friend of mine that lives in Boston says that the ATMs at like MIT and stuff they're about the same price as Coinbase.
Well, that's nice. Then you can do direct over-the-counter arbitrage without a lot of trouble. You just put the money into the ATM, and then you go to your guy, and then you sold it. I mean, of course, everybody. Look, everybody. I'm not telling you to do anything if you don't break any laws or whatever. I'm just saying that could be what people do. So this is advice.
I've got some gossip here for you guys. Make of this what you will, but the biggest holder I know, which is high 7 figures, has just liquidated everything on Wednesday. He ran one of the big gambling sites, sold it, had a lot of money, and liquidated everything on Wednesday, back to dollars.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of gossip like that going around.
There's people who are in the circles that we're not in that know stuff, and they seem to make the right move every. He makes the right move every time.
Exactly.
The reason they make the right move is that they are the move.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they move the market themselves because they're big enough to make that move. So of course he would be right because he's hanging around in circles with other people with large positions, and they're all comparing prices. And that's what Adam Smith said would happen. People of industry would get together and collude on price.
Yeah, true. So shaking the tree.
That was just like the PayPal pump. Right? Who knew about that?
You can't have a democratic pump and dump. That's the opposite of what a pump and dump is. A pump and dump is where a few people get together to conspire to manipulate the price. So a few people have to have access to information that everyone else doesn't have. That's how prices go up. I'm sorry to break it to everyone, but it's the truth. Like, don't know what else to tell you.
Well, there's actually another theory that something actually has value.
Yeah,
and the price goes up.
Prices go up sometimes if there's natural disasters as well. It's not just when people collude.
No, that's part of it too.
Yeah.
You know, if we I think if we had like a Snowden 2.0 or something like that, it could go up because of something like that. You know what I mean? Or economic crash. If all of this stuff that is really fragile right now. Okay, we got European Central Bank is charging negative interest for interbank, or set the rate at negative for interbank loaning, and the Fed is really low on interest. And how long can they do it? It's kind of like a limbo game. How low can you go? And they're at negative, so it's kind of weird. So basically, zero hedge. When the first time that European Central Bank made the decision to go negative on some of the interest rates, it had probably one of my favorite quotes. He said, yeah, the economy in Europe is so good they decided to do an experiment. So because they in the press conference are like, oh yeah, everything is okay, we've got growth and consumer confidence and blah 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 blah. So because of all that, we decided to do this great experiment that's never ever been done before, and we're going to implement some negative interest rates. Well,
it's an experiment. Yeah, I mean, I read one today. It said that it's actually cheaper for America to go to war with its debtors than it is to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just a ridiculous place to be in.
Exactly.
That is actually tragic.
Negative interest, it's like renting a storage shed to keep your money in.
Yeah, so what that is doing is that's well, it's a kind of indirect collusion, you could say. I mean, basically that's forcing banks to invest in stuff that's not really secure, because if you're a bank, then what are you going to do? Before you just, gave your money to the other bank and you earned.
I don't think the banks ever need much help with that. They find plenty of risky investments on their own.
Earn anything, right? And now you're going negative because that's how. Now you've got to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? I got to buy stocks, real estate. I don't know. I've got to do something, but I can't just move my money around and make money from moving my money around like I used to be able to.
Yeah. Well, this is something that they were saying on the troll box earlier. So I'm actually going to do a screen share of the troll box. Got to check it out, man. It's like being at the zoo. And a lot of people in here were saying, not a lot of people, but enough that I paid attention to it, were saying that really what the price needs is an economic crash. You need another Cyprus, and it's gonna take something of that magnitude. And Theo is saying like a Snowden 2.0. The thing is, you've got to remember now that one of the things that drove the price up when it was around 100 to 260 was that what will happen when 7 billion people across the world start buying a finite supply of bitcoins, well, then the price is going to go up. The problem is that when eventually most of those, not most of them, but a lot of those 7 billion people did find out about what Bitcoin was, they just went, meh, okay, now what do you want me to do? You really want me to part with my euros and my pounds and my dollars? I don't think so. because people tend to avoid change. If possible, people tend to stick towards the status quo, and they only tend to wake up one by one. So what we are seeing now is more and more people turning up to the meetups. At Ethereum last night, at the meetup on Friday night, we actually did have quite a few new people that were new to crypto turn up, who turned up just because they were like, okay, I've been hearing about this for some time. I work in law, or I work in something loosely linked to finance. And they just wanted to know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
They were just curious about it. Okay, James is back. Let's get him up.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Oh, some umbrellas.
So, we actually saw a wedding proposal.
Yes, we saw that.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe what we were seeing. They just, so someone actually, a woman here was actually causing some problems, right?
Right.
And she started ripping off the posters around this area, and we thought that person was there, you know, because there was a scene, so we thought he was trying to diffuse the situation by distracting, you know, the people over there. But turns out he was actually giving a real proposal, and she said yes. The crowd went nuts, and then the press started all gathering right as you saw at the middle point.
Wow. Well, that's incredible. And you say you got a video of it as well?
Yeah, I got the video of the proposal earlier.
That's
Did you
amazing.
guys see the end of the footage where I was in the bank, where the
You cut off
police
just
are
as
using
you cut off just as you were turning around, just as you were saying you were allowed to be in.
Oh, okay, so you did see me get in there. So they didn't stop me. They did think about it, like, but then they saw the live stream, and one of the officers behind me, like, looked at the guy and said, like, you know.
So
they
how did they
not-
know it was a live stream?
They looked, it says live on my thing, and they actually looked at what I was doing, and one of them actually gave a signal. Yeah.
One of them gave a
So
what?
the one in the front turned around, the guy right there, and he saw my screen as I walked in, and he kind of notified the people inside to just give them a sign to just, you know, not do anything.
Now that's interesting. See, that's the psychology I predict will happen, as if police think they're being live streamed and they are not going to touch you.
Yep, I had to lie early, even though I wasn't streaming live and I was just using my my camera. I actually said we're live here, and I wanted them to hear that we're live.
Well, that's big. That's very important, James. That's brilliant to hear that.
Right. So I said I was live. So you'll hear my recording on video later saying we're live, and I did that because I wanted to protect myself, and it worked. It actually led them to go away. I pushed away about 20 officers away from the Occupy area just by saying I'm live, and then they didn't want to be filmed. So I actually cleared police out of the protest zone by using that.
We need an army of these people to be going around like you, James, with cameras live streaming, and then the police won't be able to touch you.
Yeah.
Everyone will want to be around you, James, because you're the one live streaming.
Well, I was thinking just make press badges and tack on your.
Everyone should just wear a press badge.
I need a press badge tonight. They are questioning me now because I'm not wearing it. So I do need a press badge later today, which I'm just going to go
make one. Print one out on your computer and laminate it.
So now we've walked down Nathan Road past Argyle Street. We're at about 677 Nathan Road, which is a block from the main site. So we're just going to go to the end of the barrier here. But you can see that there are officers all around present today here in Mongkok on Sunday. There's a very heavy presence of police, even though there are very, very few protesters. I believe the protesters actually the police outnumber the protesters vastly at the moment. So even though things are calm, people are a bit nervous because they're outnumbered by just the police, vastly. Everyone's gone home to get some rest.
Yeah.
Some hardcore people are still lying here in the middle of the road at the end. So the cartons, again, the wooden cartons are being used to fend off and cordon off the area.
Now, is it the police that put up those barricades?
We did last night.
Okay.
When we reoccupied Bangkok, we put on the cartons, and we had a bunch of these plastic things that we tied on to.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're working all night to rebuild all four corners, but you can see they're everywhere right now, though. There's another few.
This is a picture from last night as well. It looks pretty beautiful. Don't know if you can see that.
So now we're just going to walk back down, but on the other side of the road, and you can see there's another group of cops here. And so the ratio of protesters to cops is probably around 1 to 1 right now. Do you have a question for them?
For the police?
Yeah, do you have a question for the Hong Kong police? Let's see if
I do, but I don't want you to get into trouble.
let's see if we can ask a question, because the gentleman in the white is actually a senior officer, and he might be able to answer one question from the audience from the internet.
I want to know what his opinion on democracy is. I want to know what he thinks democracy is, and what.
Questions on democracy, but I mean about the situation here. You know, if you ask them if you ask them about the crowd or what, you know, things like that, they did answer earlier. But they won't answer questions about democracy.
Well, we can. Yeah, I want him to think, and I want him to contemplate.
I'm just going to try and ask him.
We can always throw it open to Q&A. That'd be funny. We've got Q&A down bottom left-hand corner of this video. If you want to ask a Hong Kong police officer a question, get your question in.
Get it in. I will post a question. So anyone wants live? Give us your questions and I'll post it to a police officer. Let's see if they answer.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to tweet that out as well.
The lady actually ripping off paper on the bus sign. She's probably clearing the street. I'm guessing she's probably not pro-Occupy since she's ripping off paper.
Ask her.
How do I say that in Cantonese? Carol's asking the question for us.
Oh, wicked.
She's helping to clear, clean, basically.
Oh, so she's a supporter, actually, helping clear. She's neutral. She's neutral. She's helping clean Hong Kong.
Okay.
She seems like a very nice lady, and she's just here to clean Hong Kong as a citizen. She's not objective. She's not pro or against. Thanks, Yvonne. Thanks, Yvonne. Thank you.
Oh, Carol's great. I think she's
saying there.
Yeah.
She's actually saying that she is quite neutral, but she still supports the students.
Oh, she's okay.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, but basically, because there are too many chaos happening, even though the student won or not, they still need some people to clean the street. So she's helping now to clean the street.
And that's what she's doing. It's amazing. I'm so lucky. So this is a story. Carol is actually someone I had interviewed. She was an eyewitness. And I asked her what she was doing here, and she's here to support the students, but she was just mainly over in Admiralty near Central. And she asked me what I was doing here. I said I was volunteering and also filming, and that we were raising some money for Occupy Hong Kong via Bitcoin, Reddit, and we're going to bring some food to the crowd, hot food, and she volunteered to help me go buy the food, distribute it, and also help me translate while we do our broadcast. So it just spontaneously happened out of the blue. She said she'd rather help out than just sit. So that's how spontaneous and decentralized this thing it all is. So we've now got a full-time translator who's going to be with us for our podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank her very much. I don't know if she can hear us because you've got the headphones on.
But Carol, they say thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
That's really cool. So we've got a question from Saumitra, who is in India. He wants to know, when will the police turn into protesters? That's the question you should ask.
Right.
That's kind of what I wanted to ask as well. That's why I said don't ask.
Okay, then. Let me go find someone in white.
Well, don't get into trouble, man. Like, be safe.
Can we find a white guy? Is there a white cop somewhere?
A white
There's
cop.
some racial profiling on World Crypto Network.
No, they're talking about his shirt.
Oh, sure.
Because the white cops are the more senior cops.
Ah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jake.
they're talking about shirt color.
That sounded so bad the way you said it.
Bloody hell, am I going to go in the bank again?
Yeah.
I'm really going
Yeah,
to
but I
get
think the signal will cut out if you go too far.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
No, apparently my signal will get lost if I go in there, so let's try and find another white copper. They're banks. Is he police or bank security?
No, the police.
Oh, he's police. Okay, so they're all police. There's no bank security. Everybody is police. Good morning, sir. Hi. We're live to the world on YouTube. We're streaming live. We have some of the audience actually has a question. No questions. All right. Thank you so much. They actually just wanted to know: is there any chance of any police joining the protesters and leaving the police force? Very small chance.
Ooh.
Oh, you can't answer sense. Oh, I got it. I'll find you when you're not near your superior. Thank you, sir. You've been very nice. Thank you. He was a very kind police, as you can see. There are nice police in Hong Kong still. You know, there's not all police is bad. There are still some very nice police here. See, they smile at us. They say hi. Good morning, sir. So they're not all bad, as you see in the newspapers.
Find somewhere they don't have the superiors with them.
Right, they're smiling and they're nice when there's no superiors. But once you see the white shirts, they act totally differently. So we just got first-hand reaction from the police. Is there any other questions? I'll keep asking them.
This is brilliant. I'm tweeting that out. So
Yeah, we can see it on the big screen.
Someone from India just asked a question of a police officer in Hong Kong, a question about when they're going to join the democratic process. This is truly global and decentralized, everyone.
So this
good crowd here.
Well, this is because this is the supply tent, medical tent. You see the umbrella?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Photos and videos. Yeah, no photos or videos. So I'm gonna not this area because the volunteers don't want to be filmed in case there's repercussions down the line.
Yeah.
So I'll respect that decision.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we were asked the other day on Reddit, like, you know, someone asked me, what would you do if a naked person ran into camera? And I'm like, well, in the highly unlikely event that happened, obviously I would terminate the broadcast and I'd ask the person what the hell they were doing running naked in the street, you know. But it's a good point, actually. And you know what I'm thinking is that, okay, that's an extreme example, but there could be circumstances where someone, you know, doesn't want their face on the camera. And I'm thinking maybe we should have some kind of like, you know, where normally people wear press written on, the journalists have press written on them, we should have live on YouTube written on ours. So that when we go around live on YouTube, then everyone knows that they're going to be live on YouTube.
I think just press.
Yeah, but some people don't necessarily know that, because if it's live, that's it, right? Like, and I think it carries more weight as well, especially with police officers if they know that you're live.
Because when they know it's live, they behave so differently.
Yes.
They would actually never smiled without being live. That was the first time tonight I'd seen a police officer smile at me. Only because I said he's live on camera, and consciously he knew that was good image for the police.
Yeah.
So he had to smile back. He wasn't going to be aggressive like he's been all night. So it's also positive PR for them. So we've walked past the first barricade. This end is also a double barricade. There's one with trash cans, recycling bins, and there's a second one about 30 meters down. And at this junction, there's also a meeting of police. So you can see every junction is blocked by police. They look like they work in groups of 4s everywhere.
Well, Chris, I can't believe you would stop the broadcast for somebody being naked.
Well, I think the gentleman's point on Reddit was if they didn't want it to be viewed. I know the point he's trying to make, though. It's just in general, like, what if you catch somebody who didn't want to be on air, whose face, maybe there was some sensitive information they didn't want on air, and then because it was live, it was unstoppable, right? Like, that's too late.
Yeah, I've asked people, like when I was talking about those Chinese people that were out at the gun range that day, they were taking pictures of me and my guns and stuff, and were taking pictures of the other people there, and that's a private gun range. And I told them, you know, these other guys probably don't want their pictures taken out here.
Ah, okay, got another great question from Salmitra. Are the family of the cops at the protest?
Oh.
So, that's interesting, isn't it?
Headed back now.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Yes, please, me too. Hi, good morning, sir.
Morning.
We're broadcasting, we're live on the internet right now, and the world wants to ask if any of you have families here at the protest. Friends, families, wives, relatives, are they here at the protest right now? No, you have no relatives, no family. They all, so your family, the police family, actually disagrees with the action here, and they will not come and support this movement. All right, thank you very much.
Thank
have
you
a good
for that.
Thank
you, and stay safe. Thank you, sir. So they've been very kind. The police, the Hong Kong police, have been very nice to us and do answer questions, which surprised me totally. I did not expect that. I actually expect he might shoo me away, but well, great experiment with 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's impressive. Well,
The families are not present.
Only everyone.
Yeah. One guy was willing to. That's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Better than no one. So it does have an impact. I showed him the live thing. I showed all of them. I actually turned the camera on and showed them the words live. On YouTube. And once they saw that, they actually were open to us answering the questions.
James, you should get someone to take a picture of you so that you've got this as well. Like, it would be good to see what you look like holding the camera up and get that documented.
Yeah, today you can film me documenting.
Yeah, sure.
She'll do it.
Yeah, wicked. Has she got a Twitter?
Are you on Twitter, Carol?
No.
She's not on Twitter.
Oh.
However, do you know how to use Twitter?
I can have a look tonight.
All right.
Whenever we go.
So now you can see people are serious. It's a bit serious there. They're a bit quiet and actually reading the notices on the board. Carol, can you tell us what they say?
The top one is like, this is the whole country, like, movement. It's not just a specific group. No specific group. No.
So there's no organized. There's no organized group. It's
Yeah.
a country movement. Basically, it's a decentralized people
Yeah.
movement.
And be careful, be aware with some movement people.
Be careful of
Traitors.
opposition.
Yeah.
So these are all pro-Occupy.
So, yeah.
Okay. And these ones we saw earlier, the colored ones. The person being bloodied.
That one is actually
Oh, there's a blue one here. What does that say?
police and like these reps. It's not very.
So black and blue. Black represents like the thugs. So they're tying the blue police with the black of the thuggery together.
Could you repeat that, James?
Basically, it's the same message that the police are in cahoots with the gangsters. That's why they have the blue ribbon representing the police and the black ribbon representing those thugs, and they've joined them together, showing that they're in unity, the police and the thugs. That's what that poster said.
Okay. Who is printing all of this?
Carol, do you know who's printing these?
No idea.
No, I think everyone's...
Yeah, I think everyone's just doing their part.
Because I've seen many people post things really differently.
So it hasn't been just mass printings of the same thing. It looks like people have been printing on their home computers and printers and just putting the stuff up.
Exactly, because here there's another side, and it's a new one. I haven't seen this before. That's just been put up today. So they're definitely all like home printed. Even the ones in color look like home printed.
Yeah, it looks like just regular computer printer paper. How's the weather been there? Has it been raining anymore, or was there just the rain the other night?
No, it's just been raining sporadically throughout the night. So you'll see the umbrellas open and close about 3-4 times typically in the last few days.
Okay.
We're back at the center point, and we've actually gone through all 4 corners now. From Nathan Road, one end to the other end, and one end of Argyle Street, there. And so you can see the three places in the middle and at the very end.
Yeah, your
Okay,
sound
you're
is actually
starting.
yeah, your sound is breaking up, James. Not sure if that's your microphone.
Sorry, I was just saying, we're back in the middle now, and you've seen the whole of the occupied one cook area now. We've taken you from end to end on all 4 corners.
That's quite a tour.
Yeah, that's been really good, James. This is very cool.
Thanks. What would you guys like to see tonight? Do you want to see Central? Do you want to see Causeway Bay?
Tonight, your time?
Oh, good question. I guess it would be like midnight my time.
Midnight your time? Yeah, I mean, please. I mean, I think what would be great as well is if you do more recorded stuff, because we don't always get the best quality from the live streams. Like now it's good, but it's been very patchy, but I think it would be really cool if you could shoot some more pre-recorded stuff, upload it for us. I'm sure we can sort something out, because we've got a few...
amazing I got an exclusive. I was the only journalist around, and I captured a pro-anti-Occupy reporter. He was in the middle causing trouble, hurling insults at students. He was blatantly drunk. I could smell the alcohol on him. He was really intoxicated. And stirring up some trouble, just as a student. I got the all and actually followed him until the end, where the police were about to put him on a cab and let him go. But then when they saw me recording, they felt better against that, and they didn't actually put him in a cab, and actually took him away a couple more blocks. So you can definitely see the impact of a live camera, at least by me saying we're live. They actually stopped putting him in the cab.
Right. Okay, we're just about picking up your audio at the moment. It's quite distorted, but we can just... The picture's very clear, though. Oh, that's better.
That's always been the problem with internet video and audio. You can never... You always have problems with one or the other.
Yeah, but this is coming through, like, image-wise, this is coming through very clearly. But how do you think it's going to go in the next couple of days, James?
Well, today or Sunday, today's a big day because the chief executive has ordered this whole area to be cleared out by today, and there's kind of like now a reverse deadline that's been given. So rather than give the chief executive that deadline to reply, he's given the Occupy movement a deadline now of today to clear the area, or else they'll take further action.
Yeah.
So now it's Sunday morning there?
It is. It's Sunday morning now. Probably we went on the first time at this very spot where there was that troublemaker at 6 a.m. So I'm not sure what time it is now, but we are back at the original spot.
8 a.m. there.
And you can see now the police present at this barricade has greatly reduced. There's about 20% of what was here earlier. There's only about 5 or 6 across. Good morning. He did smile back. He acknowledged and said good morning back to us here.
This is brilliant.
Do you have any questions? Hi. Do you have any questions for them?
Do we have any questions for the police?
I would ask if they expect the protests to swell up again, or
Right.
if they think it will die down.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. Do you think the protest on Sunday will be smaller than yesterday? Do you think it will become bigger or smaller as the days go by? They're not too sure. Thank you, sir. So he's not too sure of what's going to happen here, and I think nobody in Hong Kong knows. It just depends on the public, right? What the public mood is, because sometimes there's a lot of people here. Sometimes there are thousands of people. Sometimes there's only hundreds. But what we've seen is that whenever there's the public feels like they've been wronged by the police, that's when the crowd comes out in drones. But when that doesn't happen, sometimes you do see this Occupy movement die down, and the crowds do get very small to what it is right now. There's only a few hundred protesters left. But we're 3 for 3 now on this question game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've got one. Did you ask how long it is before China does something stupid?
Yeah, don't ask a question that could get you into trouble.
Well, I would think that a fair question, though, would be has mainland China threatened any, or has mainland China set any deadlines?
I doubt they would know, because we'd know the answer to that. The only deadline we know of right now is the one set by the chief executive to clear out today, which is basically China's orders, right? So you could look at that as China's orders to clear out by today, even though the actual message came from our chief executive.
Now, who is the actual chief executive?
C.Y. Leung.
He's the one we've been hearing so much about.
Okay, because I've been seeing a woman that's been doing a lot of talking too.
Because she's the only person the students have agreed to talk with. There's no confidence in C.Y. Leung. He has no credibility, and the students don't even want to talk to him. They don't recognize his authority anymore. They don't see him as a leader. So they're like, nah, we want to meet her. We'll negotiate with her, but not with you, C.Y. is the message from the students. And by doing that, they've given him less power, in a sense, in the eyes of the public.
Mm.
Authority only exists.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
That's what I keep trying to tell people, but no one ever listens.
No one is accepting C.Y. Leung, even though he is in charge. There's no confidence in him. There's no confidence in the police chief. So basically, because there is no confidence in the police chief and the police force, the people are not recognizing the authority of the Hong Kong police. And that's why we're demanding to search the police. We're demanding to have someone escort with the police to make sure they take people to the station. We are now policing the police because there's no confidence in them.
And that's the way it should be, actually, all the time.
Yes. I've actually never seen this before, where the citizens are actually policing the police, and to witness it firsthand is really quite incredible. Making sure that they do take them to the station, actually yelling at police officers to do their job once they see an abuse, and the cop is ignoring the crime. Citizens are stepping in, saying, that's a crime, arrest it. I've seen it, I'm willing to be a witness.
Yeah, it's...
the jobs, we have to force them to arrest people.
think a lot of perceptions are changing around the world, and this has really been eye-opening for the world to see how so many people can get together and do a peaceful protest. And like I've been saying, just for the sheer magnitude of population that's gathered there, if we have a concert here with 70,000 people in America, we have more fights than you've had total. And these are just people that are going to a concert for a good time. And I mean, for a protest and a revolutionary type deal to have as little violence as actually went on there, I think is amazing.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Head of the organization.
Oh,
White guy.
okay, so something's happening in front of us. Carol has just informed us because she's been staying in the middle while I've been touring, and she said there's a Democratic, there's a politician who's shown up onto the scene. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, and there's been huskies here and German shepherds. You see this yellow husky?
Oh,
son of a bitch.
No, it's okay. You're okay. Oh, you've gone again. We might have to wait for James to reconnect. I've just been looking through some of the pictures, actually, of the Occupy.
Can't believe I was censored. I'm devastated.
This is actually James before he left last night,
Okay.
about 12 hours ago.
What's the weather like there? I mean,
It's humid and it's raining.
yeah,
Sporadic.
I mean, do they need blankets and stuff like that? Are they okay for?
Yeah, I think so. They're okay for supplies like that because they've
Yeah.
had a wish list that they put up on a wall, and then people would just go and come and collect them.
Oh, that's cool.
This is another tweet from James. I'm just looking through all the pictures.
That's the cop that ran him over or hit him with the car.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
That guy there.
He took a picture of the license plate as well. So this is an amazing picture. I like that.
Boy, they got good camera phones.
Yes, yeah.
And that's just one he got that they gave him for free when he went and said that his got broke in that altercation.
These are older. These are from a few days ago now. But yeah, so it's pretty incredible stuff that we're able to connect, and we were able to do a live Q&A. See if James comes back, because it would be good. He said he's just about to find this politician, so I'd be interested to know what that politician thinks of democracy. But we've also had a suggestion from More Fun Than Toast, who's saying that the suggestion for branding is that you could say to people as you approach them in the street with your camera phone, we're broadcasting through YouTube Live on the World Crypto Network. So yeah, well actually, I mean, you could just say we're live on the World Crypto Network. I mean,
yeah.
And then hopefully over time, you know, people kind of, it gets famous enough that everyone knows that's a YouTube channel, I guess. But yeah, it's good. I'm also thinking that we should probably start abbreviating it to WCN a bit more, just so that it's a bit quicker.
You need the advert to go every 15 minutes, don't you, to keep reinforcing it, like every other news channel. Was it interstitial or something they call it?
What is that? Say again.
You need the WC graphic to go every 15 minutes, come zooming onto the screen. Just
with the beep, 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 beep.
Just keep enforcing to people what they're watching, because they forget every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, if you forgot, this is the World Crypto Network.
Yeah, so let's see if James comes back. So that'd be really cool to see the politician that he was referring to that's democratic. I don't know how the hell James is even running, because it's like he's been up this whole time. He's been up for 24 hours.
Whilst he's away, I'll tell you about the referendum I've been talking to a lot of Scottish people over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Especially amongst the youngsters. It's amazing. Do you know they thought Bitcoin was going to be their currency? It's just what they expected. They thought they were going to lose the pound, and they thought, no problem, we'll just accept Bitcoin. And the younger you go, the more they thought that was going to happen. It was amazing. But of course, we didn't get the chance.
Yeah. Were you
just the way the youth were thinking? They were thinking, yeah, we'll just go to Bitcoin. We don't care if you take the pound. It was an amazing revelation to me, anyway. Yeah, I was very pro. Yeah. Yeah, massively so.
Yeah, I think most of us in the Bitcoin community were pro.
I think most of Scotland was. Unfortunately.
Controversial.
Well, no, I mean,
whereabouts are you from?
I'm from Glasgow.
Okay.
There's only 2 countries in the world that has oil reserves and doesn't have a trust for their people: Iraq and England and Britain. That's amazing. Make of that what you will.
Yeah, there's huge oil fields north of Scotland in the North Sea.
They've just announced one which could be the 2nd biggest in the world, and they've got pictures of Cameron flying up there 2 weeks before the election, having secret meetings. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I believe you sent me the links to that.
BP, Shell and BP sending their staff home on full pay and non-disclosure agreements in September. It's just unreal. It's just ridiculous. Cameron has to announce that. He works for the people of Scotland as he does the people of England.
So why were they sent home?
So they wouldn't talk about what they find before the election. So they sent them all home on full pay, shut down the mine and the prospecting, made them all sign an undisclosure agreement, and sent them all home and told them they can resume in January.
Okay.
Basically, they just found a massive reserve and they knew it couldn't get out, so they just shut it all down.
I thought it was kind of common knowledge that there was a massive reserve.
They hadn't found it, and they were searching for it, but they hadn't found it. But they basically found it in September. They'd got enough information to realize how big it actually was. And they're saying it could be the 2nd biggest in the world.
So they did an actual geographic.
Yeah, they were doing it. Yeah, and it was much. I think it was much better than anyone, much bigger than anyone thought it was going to be. I think that was the problem.
Okay.
And around about that time, that's when everything cranked up to go against the yes vote. Everything cranked up. So that's when Gordon Brown came out and started doing all his speeches. It's when everything started, when everyone into overdrive, basically. The times you can map them chronologically. If you were doing your timestamping thing, we'd have the proof. You can actually see it happen. You actually see Cameron turns up, massive oil reserve, massive media campaign against the yes campaign. Huge.
Yeah, so it's all about money. All these nation states. I mean, the nation state, well, I've been looking into it more and more, and there are a handful of academics I'm finding that have been studying the movement of borders over time and how the claims on territory change over the centuries. And it turns out that the country, the idea of having a country, is a relatively new phenomenon in human history, at least. Like, we used to be fairly fluid and dynamic, and then you kind of had these city-states emerge. And then once you started to get Rome, after that, you kind of had this trend of, like, demarcating borders. But it was entirely a function of your ability to enforce those borders.
Yeah.
And so you start to look at it, and you even look like Tom. It wasn't until Tom told me that the Salem witch trials were all about the land. It was just a bunch of people that turn up and just say, well, we all want that land, and we need a reason to get you guys out. When you look at it, and then I started to look at it more, and I just realized this is all just about money.
Yeah.
This is so hypocritical. Why make it up to be something it's not? Just say what it is. Look, we want your oil. Okay, so let's go through the whole
picture. I mean, it still is. They don't have to occupy anymore. That's the only difference. Now they can hit you from anywhere on the planet with their drones. They don't have to occupy. They can just take and then install what they want. It's even easier. It's like slavery now is making you want to pay your house, food, and that type. It's like slavery in the 1800s was take someone and put them in your field and make them work for you.
Yeah.
Now if you give them a few luxuries, you make them pay. At least slaves in the 1800s, they got fed once a day and they were sheltered. They were housed for free. Now you pay for all of that and you're still a slave.
Yeah, yeah.
You can opt out of it, and people do, and more people are. But it's very sophisticated slavery. And likewise, that's very sophisticated owning of territory. What they do now, they don't send in and take over, and like we used to do, take over India and then rebuild it. There's no need to do that anymore. You can take the resources without having to do that for a fraction of the cost.
Well, when 65% of your income goes back to taxes with some form of tax, it's hard to say it's not slavery. When the other 45% goes towards housing and food and living expenses.
Exactly.
I mean, it is slavery.
It's just got more sophisticated. That's all it is, and it's the same with territories and borders and countries. I mean,
and when they've got, I mean, Lenin said, "Give me your children for 4 years," and I don't remember what the rest of it was, but I'll have them for life. And now they have the public schools, the government schools, for at least 12 years. And then if you have college and preschool, that's a hell of an indoctrination system. And you look at all the ritual that's involved with nation states, with the Pledge of Allegiance. It's like a prayer, and it's so much like, if you compare it to even like the Catholic religion or any other religion. I'm just most familiar with Christianity, but I mean, the men in robes for judges, and a priest with his robes, and and then the Pledge of Allegiance is like saying a prayer to the Hail Marys and things like that. It's worship of the state.
Yeah, absolutely. But I can't speak for America. But if you speak to the youth in Britain, times are changing. They know it. They're half of them. They know the banks have robbed them of a generation. They tell you about it. They'll openly tell you. They'll tell you they don't want bank accounts. So there's an option. They'll take it. All the youth I speak to, there's definite change in the air. If you go to about 18 or 19, they just don't trust governments. They don't trust banks, and they know there's a difference now. They know they can go a different route, and they're choosing it. I think there's a massive change in there. So if the whole school and doctrine system thing's working, it's failed in Britain for my small, be it small sample size of the people I've talked to and chatted with. But I think there's a big change in there, and it won't be our generation. It'll be the next generation that will start it and they'll push it through, I think.
I think our priority as a generation, though, is to give the younger people everything they need to come through, especially my generation of the younger generation than me, really, the ones that are in their 20s now, because a lot of them are leaving university and they can't get jobs because the education system didn't get them ready for what was about to emerge in the world. So it's kind of unfortunate, because I've got one of my best friends, Harriet. She's got a young boy, and he's at primary school. And I'm saying to her, you do know that it's like he's being educated for a job that doesn't even exist.
He needs to learn how to code immediately, and then just.
This is what I'm telling her, to get him a Raspberry Pi and to sit him down in front of a computer. I'll spend time with him. You've got to get him to code, because it's going to be like reading and writing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And, that's what I've seen a lot of paradigm change too. And I think that the kids have figured out that they're just screwed by, it's become so draconian and so oppressive now that it's just so blatantly obvious that they're getting screwed over in the school systems and everything, that the ones that are fairly bright aren't falling for the indoctrination and seeing through all of that bullshit. So I am seeing even, 25 and younger now a lot of those are going more along the kind of what we've been talking about for the train of thought.
Yeah, I mean, it goes even younger. I was talking to an 18-year-old who was issued a parking ticket, and he was just like, well, I'm not going to pay it. It's not even a law. I didn't have to tell him. He just knew, why would I pay this? I'm never going to have credit. I'm never going to buy a house, so they're going to destroy my credit score. I don't care. I'm never going to use credit,
Hey, James.
So why
okay, so we're about to get an exclusive one-on-one interview with the head of the Passion Times, which is one of the three movements here. There's the Occupy movement, the student movement, and Passion Times. And Mr. Wong here is actually the founder of Passion Times, who is, let's see, someone's actually going to lead us to him, and we're going to speak with Passion Times right now, the founder of the Passion Times, Mr. Wong. Let's get some questions prepared. Is there any questions from the world?
Yeah, we can put a shout out for some Q&A for Passion Times. So Passion Times pro-democracy?
Passion Times is pro-democracy and is supporting the students. They are here. Passion Times was formed to report on the truth of the news, because the mainstream media here is full of crap. So Mr. Wong here founded Passion Times to report on the truth. And he's been very prominent throughout this movement. You'll see him on stage at all the rallies. He's usually the one leading the rallies and giving out rally speeches. And so on the side here are some people, volunteers from Passion Times, who are going to help us arrange the interview.
That's great. I'm just putting a shout out on Twitter right now.
Now, is he that 17-year-old gentleman?
Oh, no. He looks 40. And the 17-year-old is a student, so this is not part of the student movement.
Okay. So he's the guy on the left there with the glasses?
Glasses, yes. That is Mr. Wong from the Passion Times on the left with the glasses, yes. Who's speaking with some local media currently.
And basically, they're a journalist organization trying to report the truth through the mainstream media bullshit.
Correct, yes. We can ask him again exactly what they do directly from Mr. Wong. We can ask him what the organization Passion Time does in Hong Kong. So we're not sure when this is going to finish. It could be actually a while. So.
Last question now.
Oh, it's the last question actually. Hi, good morning, Mr. Wong. We are streaming live here on YouTube across the world. So Chris is in London, we have Jamie in the States, we actually have some questions for you about Passion Times.
I try my best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Wong, what is the mission of Passion Times, and why was it the party formed?
You mean during the Umbrella Revolution?
Before the Umbrella Revolution.
We fight for the local interest, or fight for the Hong Kong interest, and also, of course, fight for the...
Right, and that's why you support the students in this movement.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and do we have any questions for Mr. Wong here?
We haven't had any yet, but I want to know what his... I would like to know what his how he's feeling about how it's going so far and what he expects over the next 2 days.
Okay, Mr. Wong, how do you think the movement has gone so far? Do you think it's a success? Yes. What do you think of the movement so far? This Occupy movement, the progress. How have we done? How's the movement done?
How the movement? Do you think this movement will success?
Well, up to now.
I'm not sure, but I wish we can success. I wish we can success. We are all. We don't afraid the police. We don't afraid the cancer. We instead of many things before this week. I can't predict, but I wish we can success.
Is there any hard, concrete evidence that there was gangster or triad influence in the attacks yesterday on the students? Has there been some concrete evidence that has come out today?
Actually, we take some video. We take some video that we saw that the police just released after they had. But the police just lied. Nothing happened. But we got many photos. We got many videos. But we can't get some
then do you think these thugs will not get prosecuted? Do you think these criminals who attack students will not get prosecuted?
I don't know. I wish, and we're asking the government and the police to do that. And that is because the students don't want to talk with the government again until they prosecute this criminal thing, this attack. But I don't know. I don't think they will do that.
Okay. And do you see this as a long-term movement or being resolved relatively soon? Because there's been a deadline set for particularly the areas. So how do you see this playing out in the next few days?
You said many deadline before, and I think we will still in this occupied before until we respond to our.
Do you see maybe giving back Hong Kong because it is a residential district and maybe just occupying the financial district of Central and Admiralty? Can you see a kind of a peaceful negotiation where some other territories, including Causeway Bay, might be returned because there is residents and just occupying the financial district? Do you see that as a possibility, as a compromise?
Someone try to persuade us to move forward because of something like that, but we don't appeal. I don't think we will move out because compromise. We will move out just because the vow.
And or when we get what we ask, which is universal suffrage. Is there any calls for the police chief to resign after the incidents yesterday and the incidents on Sunday? Is that part of the negotiations? Is there any demands from the students for the police chief to resign as well? No? Even the public are angry at the police right now. Is there going to be some kind of reform that we ask for with the police organization? Changes from the police? Because you're not asking for the resignation of the chief, but there has to be some consequence from the police for the actions they took.
Yeah, actually, actually, because there's no leader here, so no one can bring out this issue.
So you don't consider yourself one of the leaders of this movement, even though we've seen you very publicly, prominently on stage?
No.
Okay. What do you consider yourself as then? A supporter?
Yeah, I just bring some food and maintain the order, try to protect them, and no leader.
And do you think, because there's a lack of organization, or it can be seen as a positive that this movement is decentralized, which is one of its strengths, that we are all over Hong Kong, which is why the police cannot stop us all at once compared to when we were blocked in Admiralty. We were in a central point, which made us an easy target. Now that we're spread out and decentralized, do you see that it's a better advantage being decentralized versus being in one central spot? This whole Occupy movement being leaderless, being spread out?
It's better to spread out. I think it's better.
And same with the leadership. You think it's better with no one leadership, that no one's a leader? Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. Is there any last questions we have for Mr. Wong here?
We've had one question from Salmitra in India. He wants to know why does Mr. Wong think that the protests have been so peaceful? What's the secret?
Okay, the world would love to know what is the secret of Hong Kong that we've been able to have such a peaceful protest here.
Because we are really peaceful.
The people are very peaceful, right? And actually, that's why I had personally witnessed yesterday a very aggressive man snatch a phone out of a woman's hand. It was a Hong Kong resident, and I said that cannot be a Hong Kong person, because Hong Kong people are very polite and they wouldn't do things like that. They wouldn't spit on other residents. So that's why I was very suspectful of the mainstream media when they said these were Hong Kong residents. I had some questions, because I know Hong Kong citizens, they don't spit on each other. They wouldn't take someone's phone. We're very polite, and they wouldn't have the guts to do that, right? We'd be too scared.
Yeah,
So there's no way they were Hong Kong people, those thugs.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Mr.
thank
Wong.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. That was Mr. Wong, the founder of the Passion Times Party here in Hong Kong, one of the three movements, along with Occupy and the student movement.
It's amazing. Well, you're doing a great job, James. That's been brilliant.
We've had
Fantastic.
You were telling me, James, you were telling
Yes.
me yesterday that the people that were coming in, the thugs, yesterday, that they had a very strong South Chinese accent. Is that right? They were from mainland China.
They had this Putonghua heavy accent. It wasn't just the accent, no. That's one giveaway. It's just their style of clothing. They wear this man bag that people don't wear. Hong Kongers wear backpacks. You see this gentleman right here? We love our backpacks. You see this gentleman? We love our backpacks. We love our backpacks. Every man in that group wore, another one here, every man in that group wore these, we call them Chinese man purses, right? Because we recognize the style of that bag. And they were all wearing it. They all had the accent. Just their mannerisms, the way they behaved, spitting on people, stealing property. These are just things Hong Kong residents, you never see them doing. I have seen anti-Occupy Hong Kong residents today for the first time, and all they did was scream at the students, right? That's the most they did. I knew he was a local. So when I saw that today, I said, oh, there actually is some local opposition to this. And but yesterday they were thugs, not local residents. But today we did see some local residents, and we knew they were local because all they did was express their opinion verbally, even though it was shouting. They didn't try to punch anyone or hit anyone.
Right.
Very good observation.
Yeah, and I guess it would be the equivalent of us, you know, if somebody came from another part of our country, you could tell from the accent just out of the blue, they just started appearing and started, you know, punching people, then you'd know something was awry.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's obvious that you and Chris McCready are from different parts of the country just from hearing your speech. And, you know, people hear me and other people, other Americans, and can definitely tell that we're from different parts of America.
Yeah, but what's interesting about this is the geography, right? Because if you look at like where democracy kind of originates in Greece, and you look at the geography of Greece and all the distributed islands, you can see why democracy would flourish in a place where information is divided up over all of these kind of small regions. Now, the thing about mainland China is huge in terms of surface area, in terms of population, and in terms of culture. And the thing is, Hong Kong is this kind of separate island that's kind of detached. And so this is going to be a very interesting to see what happens here, because it's not part of the mainland. And then when you do get a whole bunch of people come over, it's just glaringly obvious.
It's really fun that you make that point, because there's a saying in Hong Kong that people who live on the island, we say Hong Kong Island people are very different to Kowloon people. And Carol's nodding here. Could you elaborate on that, please? Can you tell us what is the difference between Hong Kong people on the island and the Kowloon people?
I think people are saying people away.
Yes.
And Kowloon is with the new territories as well.
And Kowloon is nearer China.
Yeah, near to China. So people are less, it's not that much different. We're all the same, like what to say, like we're all the same Hong Kong people, but just the same. For example, like my friend like owns a dog, like walk the dog, people will like basically clean up afterwards.
On the Hong Kong Island,
Yeah,
right?
Okay. And maybe for Kowloon and new territories, it was different.
Not everyone will clean up.
Everyone, yeah.
Right.
So the manners are different. And the mannerisms of the people on Kowloon are a little more similar to the ones on the mainland China than the people on Hong Kong Island.
That's very interesting. So what do you want to do now? I mean, what's the plan? You've been up for a long time.
I'm going to get some rest, because this afternoon I'm going to go withdraw some Bitcoin from the Reddit account and buy some hot food with Carol, buy some dim sum, and we're going to deliver a batch of food tonight.
Great. Well, you're going to have to
Awesome.
capture that. That's going to be great. I'm actually.
So she's definitely going to help film and distribute with me.
Is it possible, James, you could get one of those shotgun mics? I was looking up microphones for mobile phones today, and it turns out you can actually get microphones for phones where you just plug it into the phono socket, and then you'll be able to get better quality audio.
So then, how would I listen through the headset or listen to myself?
Good question. I don't know. You'll have to.
No, they have. You plug the microphone in, and then on top of the microphone or on the side of the microphone, they have a headphone plug-in.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense now. So if I have time, I'll try and see if I can find one at an electronics store, because where I'm going to withdraw the bitcoins, I'm gonna, because it's Sunday, I have no option. How do I withdraw bitcoins on a Sunday? There's no banks.
Well, you're going to have to do an over-the-counter with someone, aren't you? You're going to have to do cash.
A local bitcoins type of a...
Yes.
All right, so then I may not be able to do it today. I can definitely
take Bitcoin.
It's good.
The audience knows food supplies or restaurants or anyone willing to take Bitcoin in Hong Kong.
Well, yeah, do it for publicity. We'll give them publicity.
Do it.
I'm on Twitter
now.
You can tweet me. You know, anyone, a food vendor in Hong Kong is willing to take Bitcoin.
I'll tweet it out right now.
Another thing that you might want to get, James, is like packages of beef stew or spaghetti, things like that are in soft packages.
Right.
That you can just tear open and eat because it's pre-cooked.
Okay.
It doesn't. You can warm it up, but you don't have to.
So it's still edible room temperature.
Right. Because it's pre-cooked.
Right.
But it's still nourishing.
James, I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes. Hi, Chris.
Is this spreading? Is this going to Maku or any of the other islands? Or is it just at Hong Kong at the moment?
It was just Hong Kong, but on Taiwan, last night I posted some pictures on my Twitter. There's been some demonstrations in Taiwan as well, but it's about rising property prices. So it's not anti-government or you know, for democracy per se, or trying to break away from China, but it is another big movement that started in Taiwan. And some people had actually started coming out on the streets in Taiwan to support us, and I guess as a result of that, they've decided their issue is high property prices, and they've gone on the street against that.
Okay, interesting.
I find it humorous that a communist country is having these problems with this crony capitalism. It's just kind of a problem that I never thought that we'd see.
Yeah,
you know,
what kinds of activities are you referring to specifically?
With the price gouging on land and rent and everything, where everything's about making money, and it's supposed to be a communist country. I mean, communist country is supposed to be about just the opposite.
No, it's more like capitalism meets communism here.
Yeah, it's crony capitalism. That's what I mean.
Yep. Absolutely right.
Well, like the rest of the world too.
Yeah, but
they're more pronounced.
I mean, that's what a friend of mine here was saying. You know, the economy in the United States for the people here is like, how do I tell my kids that America is so good when we have to work so damn hard to put food on the table here, and we see the Chinese communist country looks so good from here, doing so good. They're making all this money.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. So, James, so tomorrow I'm going to be at the Ethereum event. So I'm going to be filming Vitalik. But you can jump on live anytime. I can always go over to. We've also got WCN too. But if you just have to ping us on Podio and just or Skype, and just let us know, and we can get a channel set up for you right away. Because it's been really good to have you, and you've been taking a lot of risks for us as well. And you've been bringing us a lot of really good footage, so I really appreciate that.
No, thanks. I'm glad that there's a platform where we can actually broadcast and show to the world independently what's really going on right in the middle, not from where the mainstream media actually are. I'll show you where they are. They're up there. And we're usually right here.
When you say they're up there, where are they exactly?
Top of a MTR station, a train station, basically.
On the left, is it? The building on the left?
You know what, I'll get near. So
are they just camped out there or something?
They're just camped on top.
I think he's sitting actually on top of the train station, isn't he?
Ah. We're losing James.
There might be radio interference if he's going near the mainstream media building. I have a lot of radio interference in my area here.
Yeah, well, I think it's best that we start drawing things to a close. What I might do with this video as well, if I get time, is I might edit it so that we just have the bits from Hong Kong all together in one piece, which is why I asked Samitra earlier on Twitter to get me the timestamp of the Merkel route that I announced earlier on, because one of the advantages is that I can edit this video and then put up the original hash of the full video, timestamp that, do an edit, but do my edit in a Git repo, and then you can see all the edits that I've done. You can see all the bits that I've taken out, just in case you think I might be lying. I'll leave up this video anyway, so it'll be obvious. But just want to get this activity out there. I just want people to kind of watch what I'm doing and see like, oh, that's a good idea. I might do the same thing. So yeah, it's been really cool to have James with us. We've had a few Q&As that we didn't get around to. Hattori Hanzo is saying about the police in Hong Kong, why are they against the students? What is their position? I think it's safe to say that given the attitude of the police earlier, they were very polite, and as soon as they knew they were on live, they kind of, you know, suddenly like smiling and looking good for the world. You know, they want to put on a good impression. You got to get that foreign policy straight.
Yeah, but if this was the UK, the police would have stopped the broadcast straight away. They wouldn't have been as polite as that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
They would have, because we have special response units that do nothing but go to these protests, and they're basically just thugs. They just hire thugs and put them into this department, and their job is just to stop protests. And they go in with the intent to just use violence to stop the protests. It's the quickest way to do it. They arrest a few people to set the scene for everyone else. And if you walked out with a live camera, you'd just be a target instantly.
Right.
Yeah, and here they just drive up with their cop car and have a jammer in the cop car.
It's very interesting to see the way that the police do deal with it there. It's completely different. It's very passive. How long?
And I think that's been part of why it's been so peaceful there too.
It's amazing.
Because you react to the reaction.
That's interesting. We should probably put that to a test, actually. We should probably start to get more people in protest to have live web streams to see if they can actually get it. And I was looking earlier on at all the different microphones you can get, and you can get lenses. I've actually got a lens kit for my phone right here. It's one of these, and it's called an Omni Clip. And you can, I think it's like $60 or something like that, maybe a bit more. And it just fits onto your camera like so. But I've just got an old iPhone 4S, so it's the quality isn't great, and it doesn't do very well under low light. But the new iPhone has really, really good low light capabilities. And ironically, the iPhone is the least worst in terms of operational security. You wouldn't think so, but actually it is. I mean, I've done my research. I want to get the black phone, which has got Linux and Ubuntu on it, but it's not quite ready yet. It doesn't have the apps that I need, and of course I need to be doing media stuff. So
surely Google Glass is the thing, isn't it? That's the
Well, the problem is I don't want to consolidate my Google identities with my whereabouts. At the moment, this doesn't have any Google property on it. So it does have Google Maps, but I'm not...
You can do Android without Google.
Yeah, but the convenience factor would mean that they would work out it was me, like just from my Twitter account. So they would consolidate that because they already know what my Twitter account is because I've already registered with my Twitter through my Google. So as soon as I log on to Twitter on a Google phone, they're going to consolidate all the data. They're going to say, now we not only know what Chris is searching for on the internet and all of his emails, we also now know everywhere he's going every day. And I'd rather those two databases at the moment were separate. And I make things difficult for Apple as much as I can, and I do put a lot of noisy data in there.
Certainly use a different ID. You could create a brand new Google account.
I could, but
it's
just yeah, but then I wouldn't get my emails on my phone. It was you're always trading off like convenience. You're always trading convenience and
you can have two Google accounts on one phone.
Before you can encrypt your phone and your SD card and everything before.
Yeah.
On your Android phone?
Because Apple's tracking everything you do as well. There's no difference.
Oh, yeah, sure. I just don't want it all in one big database. I just rather.
What's the little big databases?
I'd rather not one company had every single thing about me. Like Google has enough about me. Apple, I don't think Apple is making a huge big data play. I don't see it that way, and they seem to be much more strict on data persistence and encryption.
They got busted 6 months ago for tracking, and someone hacked it and got the information out, and they couldn't track anyone.
For Google, for the actual maps, right? When you walked around everywhere, it was persisting the data. But then the weird thing was they weren't even using it. No. They were so dumb. See, if that had been Google, they would have been using that and just not telling their users. Or Facebook certainly would have been.
Well, Google too. When you go to your activity stream, you see everywhere you've gone with your Google Maps.
Yeah, but I know people that... Well, I asked somebody who worked at Google in a presentation once, do they persist the data? And he said he knew that they didn't persist it because he lost some of his data and he couldn't get it back, and he worked at Google. So he actually wrote to the department.
If I go to Google Maps now and I look at my activity, I can see everywhere I've been.
Yes.
Don't you turn off your data unless you're using it?
No. It's unlimited.
Yeah, I had unlimited data too. I don't have a cell phone right now for that, but what I do is just turn on the data in the Wi-Fi as needed, and then I would just download my Twitter for what I was using at the time. Like, say, if I was using my cell phone and I went somewhere and I wanted to check it in the parking lot somewhere, I'd just go on and do Twitter and then push in data, and it would sync my Twitter account.
Yeah, I may be foolish.
Turn the data off.
I may be foolish, but for some reason I trust Google. I don't think they're going to turn evil. Don't know why, just a hunch I've got about them.
Okay.
I'm in the minority, but I think they're the first big company that's actually going to do good, because they don't act like a company. That's the thing about them.
Yeah, it's true.
They make money from ads just because they can. I don't think they'd care if their ad money went away tomorrow.
So that's Chris McCready, everyone, coming.
My mind why they're buying these DARPA robots.
That's Chris McCready coming live from the Google campus headquarters.
Oh, yeah, here I am, aren't I? Yeah, I'm pro Google, yeah.
He's got to say that. Don't worry, everyone.
I've not got a leg to stand on there, have I?
Yeah, Chris, hook us up with Google Glass and all of that good stuff.
No, you have to cross over. You'll have to worship them first.
But yeah, well, I don't know what the hell you're doing at Google Campus at 1:40 in the morning.
I have a persistent bug that won't fix, that won't give me its solution, and I'm not leaving until I break it.
All right, that's some dedication. That's some pretty good dedication. All right. Well, look, thank you everyone for staying with us again. We've been getting a lot of good people making history, as we always have been. I'm going to put this video in the blockchain later, not literally, just the hash.
Of course, I have to report to my masters afterwards what you guys have been saying. I have to give my full update.
What are they up to with the blockchain thing? Is this a thing? Is this going to be a thing? Do we need to get on this?
Yeah, it's got his MI5 profile with MI6.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Let's sign off. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next time. Follow us on Twitter @WorldCryptoNet, @Mr. Chris Ellis. All of that.